Let me tell you a story about how one HOA president learned the hard way that power and paperwork don't always win, especially when you mess with the wrong neighbor. Now picture this. It's a quiet Tuesday morning, the kind where the sun's just right and the whole world smells like cut grass and coffee. I'm standing in my garage, running my hand along the bumper of my 1969 Mustang Boss 429, Calypso Coral, the kind of color that could make grown men weep. Next to it, my 1970 Camaro Z28, still rocking the Rally Sport package, and a 1971 Challenger in a shade of purple so loud it should have come with a warning label. All told, these three cars were worth more than most people's homes, a whopping $220,000 if you want to put a number on a lifetime's obsession. Here's the kicker: that garage, the whole property it sat on, wasn't even under the Pinewood Estates HOA. It was a little loophole I'd found a piece of land deeded way before the HOA ever existed. When I started Harrison Classic Restoration, I made sure every permit, every regulation, every little hoop was properly jumped through. I played by the rules. But Karen Whitfield, our brand spanking new HOA president, she didn't care much for rules that got in her way. Karen rolled in about 6 months back, retired real estate 52, always moving at a speed that screamed, "I'm important." Within 2 weeks, she'd stuck 7 hostile notices in my mailbox, all with the kind of phrasing that made it sound like my cars were leaking nuclear waste into the ground. I kept every one of her letters labeled and filed. Old detective habit. Because people like Karen never just stop at warnings, they escalate. I'd been a detective for 12 years, and let me tell you, you start to see the patterns: watch, document, escalate, act. It's practically a playbook. So I set up a security system that would make a courthouse jealous, cameras with cloud backup, motion sensors, the works. And sure enough, my footage started filling up with Karen. 12 drive-bys in a week. 14 minutes circling my property, snapping pictures and waving her arms around like she was directing traffic. If this wasn't prelude to something, I'd eat my badge. The thing about folks like Karen is they start thinking the law's whatever they need it to be, especially if nobody calls them on it. She didn't know I was a detective, of course. Most of my neighbors figured I was some kind of maintenance guy or low-level admin, which was just fine by me. I'd rather have people underestimate me than look over my shoulder. And then, of course, life throws you a curveball. The department sends me to Quantico for federal training 10 days. No phones, complete digital blackout except for Saturday night. I'm not gone 5 minutes before Karen's at her window phone glued to her ear, pointing straight at my garage. I'd told Mrs. Wilson, the neighbor down the street, about the trip, thinking nothing of it, just neighborly chat. Guess who picked up on it? In the days before I left, Karen cranked up her surveillance game. She started gardening in the exact spot with a clear view of my garage, just her and a notebook. Walked the perimeter, pressed her face up against my garage windows. Tried my front door a couple of times, probably to see if I was really gone. She was gathering intel, no question. I made sure the cameras were all set, documentation ready. Because after a decade chasing criminals, you learn the ones who think they're saving the world for the greater good are the ones who skip the rules. And they always leave a trail. So I leave town. The garage is locked, cameras rolling. I'm hundreds of miles away learning how to catch con artists while Karen is back home figuring out how to get my cars off her neighborhood streets. She dives into the county regs, finds a clause about abandoned vehicles and hazardous materials. Classic cars with a little oil or gas, she figures could be classified as an environmental threat if left too long. With me gone, Karen gets busy. She calls up a towing company, Riverside Towing, pretending to be Lisa Thompson, a made-up property manager. She fakes emails, signs forms under this new identity, tells the tow guys that the cars are a hazard. They need to be gone pronto. She's even got the paperwork to back it up. Just one problem. It's all a lie. Monday morning, she's out there in her best real estate outfit folder in hand, snapping photos of my cars. She meets the tow driver, hands him the fake paperwork signs as Lisa, and watches as $220,000 worth of American muscle rolls off into the distance. She goes home feeling like a hero. Only the whole thing's on camera. Every minute, every signature, every faked phone call recorded and uploaded to the cloud. Karen doesn't know it yet, but she's just staged a masterclass in self-incrimination. I come home Sunday night tired but glad to be back. Walk in the garage and stop dead. Nothing. Just empty concrete oil stains and the kind of echo you only hear when something precious has been ripped away. I almost storm over to Karen's, but then red light security cam blinking. 12 years of detective training kicks in. Evidence first, confrontation second. I pull the footage, see everything. Karen's parade, the tow truck, all of it. Next morning, I'm at Riverside Towing, folder of registrations in hand, playing the pissed-off car owner. The manager, Tommy, shows me the paperwork they were told by Lisa Thompson, property manager, that these were abandoned vehicles. I see the signature. It's Karen's handwriting, clear as day. I lay it out for Tommy, and the realization dawns on both of us. Karen duped everyone. My cars are still in the lot untouched, but the evidence is crystal clear. Identity fraud, false reporting, theft by deception, all felonies. I get my documentation, make copies, organize everything like a prosecutor building a case. And then I make a decision. I don't want to ruin Karen's life. I want my cars back. I want her gone from the HOA. I want the community to see what happens when you confuse power for authority. Thursday night is the monthly HOA meeting. Karen opens with her usual routine, how she saved the community from environmental disaster, got those abandoned vehicles towed. Neighbors nod, some even clap. I stand up, folder in hand. Karen, can you explain what authority you had to remove my cars from private property not under HOA jurisdiction? Dead silence. Karen stammers about environmental hazards, about her responsibility. I lay the documents on the table, the fake Lisa Thompson signature, the phony email, Karen's real phone number on the forms. The room erupts, neighbors whispering, checking their phones, piecing it together. Karen sits down hard, realizing she's cornered. I lay it out. This is identity fraud, theft, false reporting. I show my badge. 12 years fraud investigation, Karen. You have 48 hours to return my cars, resign from the board, and fix this. Or I press charges. Vote of no confidence happens right there. Karen's out, and by Friday, my cars are back delivered free, Riverside Towing, apologizing like it was their grandma's funeral. Karen, she moves out within a month, her name still a punchline at block parties. New neighbors move in. The air feels lighter. I catch their kids peeking at the Mustang one day, open the garage, let them see what real horsepower looks like. Their dad thanks me, says he wouldn't have bought here if Karen was still around. Sometimes the system works if you know how to work it. Karen thought power gave her the right to bend the rules, but all it took was a quiet guy with patience and a paper trail to remind everyone that authority without integrity is just a ticking time bomb. So what do you think? Was I too lenient, or did justice get served? Where do you draw the line between community protection and outright abuse? Have you ever had to stand up to someone who thought they were above the law? Let's talk about it. Drop your story or your take below, because I guarantee you're not alone. And hey, never underestimate the power of documentation. Karma's got a camera and she's always watching.